would like to pay my homage to the triple gems, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Again, my deep respect to Venerable Mahasangha and greetings all friends in Dhamma around the globe. I am Sakan Tim, live from Seattle, Washington, USA, with Sister Chot Sapiep, who is live from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Welcome to Dhammika Life Dhamma Sadhana program. Before we begin our discussion, I'd like to inform that this program is brought to you by the Dhammika Life Foundation, which is led by our most venerable Soktevi, who is currently resides at Wat Kamarat Potiram, Seattle, Washington State, USA. This program purpose is to aim at propagating the Buddha's teaching in both languages, Khmer and English. Yesterday, the same Dhamma talk discussion topic was in Khmer language, and today is going to be in English language. So our main purpose for this program are to disseminate Buddhism locally and internationally, bringing on the essence, attention of the Buddha's teaching that is related to our daily life in society, and especially among our youth, simplifying the teaching from the ancient to the modern world, and promoting peacefulness, and mindfulness living through ethics, concentrations, and wisdom. As you know, the month of April is a major public New Year celebration for many South and Southeast Asia. Among the countries that mostly celebrated New Year in April are Khmer, which is Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, parts of India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and the Maldives. So since it's almost our New Year, the Dhammika Life Foundation is pleased to present our Dhamma talk as focused especially on our happy Khmer New Year 2021. So we'll get more insights on how the Khmer New Year Festival are celebrated and how it's linked into the Buddhist practices and ritual incorporated within the New Year events and many more. Again, it is such a great privilege to have Venerable Dhammasena, Venerable Gasapat, Venerable Puto, and a beautiful newly faced in the platform, Sister Sabaline, as our distinguished Dhamma speakers to join with us today. So before we begin our Dhamma discussion, Sister Sapiep will provide us some background introductions to our today's speakers. So all yours, Sister Sapiep.
Yes, thank you so much, Sister Sakon. And first of all, I would like to pay homage to the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And my greeting and respect to our Dhamma speaker, especially to our Dhamma audience who always follow our soul. And like Sister Sakon have mentioned, yesterday the same topic was discussed in Khmer language. And today, again, we have a great honor to welcome you all to our discussion on the Happy Khmer New Year 2021. Indeed, while few days approaching for us to celebrate the special occasion, similar to last year due to the pandemic, so it posed a certain challenges to celebrate physically, although in certain areas we may celebrate it in person, but also we have to practice a certain preventive measure, as well as in Cambodia right now, we experience a very rise of the community outbreak. So we wish everyone all the best. And let us celebrate the new year together virtually for now. So as Sister Sakon already introduced our four speaker by name, so let me welcome you all and introduce our Dhamma speaker more into detail. So First of all, it is our great honor to have our distinguished Dhamma speaker, Ponte Kasapak Hon Khmer. My respect to Ponte. Ponte Hon Khmer is the Executive Director of the International Cambodian Buddhist Center in Sri Lanka. Ponte is also the meditation trainer. And currently, when Pante resides at Vipassana Thuraya Buddhist Center based in Udon of Cambodia. So welcome, Pante. Our second Dhamma speaker is Pante Dhamma Sena Hat Sing Hai, who is the Executive Director of the Buddhism for Education of Cambodia, in short called BEC. Very beautiful place. I hope COVID is over. We can visit the quite a very green center. Yes, it is based in Battambang province. So I believe many audience used to visit the place or keen to visit your center a lot, Ponte. The BEC, or the Buddhism for Education of Cambodia, is the organization that aims at supporting the Buddhist education field by teaching Buddhist morality and human rights to children, youth, and people in general. Ponte have been actively taught literature and Buddhist principle to monks and also lay people, as the course are also live on social media. I'm one of your friends. Your sharing have been quite useful. Sometimes people debating certain terminology, and then we just double check on the social media. We will find your teaching. So thank you so much, Ponte. We also have our Dhamma speaker and also the founder of the Dhammikat Life, Ponte Soktivi, who is the founder of Dhammikat Life Foundation, a non-for-profit organization aiming at promoting the Buddha teaching. Ponte is leading and teaching Buddhism in English to help Dhamma friends to better understand not only the English terminology, but also the Buddha teaching. I'm very grateful, honored to be one of his students as well. So Ponte's latest publication is the Dhamma terminology. It is the Khmer Pali and Romanized Pali and Khmer English. So people who may have difficulty to understand certain terminology can consult the book. Currently, Ponte is residing at Wat Khmer Pothiram, based in Seattle of the United States. And last but not least, and our special guest for tonight, and yesterday she also joined with us, is Sister Sopolin Mal. Welcome, Sister. And Sister Sopolin is the co-founder and CEO of a US-based consulting firm focusing on delivering cloud-based technology solutions to help small and medium enterprise to increase the self-automation, embrace digitalization, and welcome transformation in order to achieve revenue growth and scalability goal. And this is amazing background because in this pandemic time, technology is one of the key solutions to many things, including education or business. And Sister Sopolin come from 9 years of work experience in the global Salesforce ecosystem as both an employee and the consulting partner living in San Francisco, Singapore, and Phnom Penh. So I'm very pleased that you have a great chance to connect the the national identity between the U.S. but also to the motherland Cambodia. Sopolin holds 2 graduate degrees from University of San Francisco in the United States, in the Master of Art in the Asia Pacific Study and Master of Business Administration. Very impressive background, and we are so pleased that you could join us tonight. And we're looking forward to hear a lot from your insight later on. So without further ado, I would like to begin our discussion. And again, let me recall that our topic for tonight is Happy Khmer New Year 2021. So I would like to pose the question first to Ponte Dhamma Senat. What is Khmer New Year Festival and how is it celebrated? So please, Ponte, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. First of all, I would like to pay my respect, pay homage to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, and my respect to Venerable Master Thiawi, Venerable Master Hun Khmer, and hello to moderators, and also other speaker Pauline, and hello to everyone who are watching our live show today. I think it's very great opportunity for all of you, especially for me as well, that I can talk our topic today on Khmer New Year. And the question is, what is Khmer New Year and how we celebrate it? So as we know, we celebrate Khmer New Year every year. And actually, Khmer New Year is one of the most popular and most important traditional festival. Here I mention traditional festival because some people might get a misunderstanding. Witnessing the activity of the New Year, we always have like a Buddhist festival. They may think it is a religious festival, but actually it's not a religious festival. Even we are celebrating based on Buddhism. We should understand that Cambodia is Buddhist country, so the population of the people doing something based on Buddhism. But actually is our traditional festival. So any faith can also join this festival. Even they are Christianity, Christian, Muslim, but they just go to their mosque or to the church to celebrate this New Year. Because New Year is very important for people, especially our country as well. To celebrate this New Year is to mark the end of the harvest season and to welcome the new season, that is rainy season. As we know, Cambodia country based on the agriculture, so our ancestors have dated this New Year in April, so we always celebrate this New Year in April together. The family of the people really enjoy so much on this occasion. So Khmer New Year lasts for 3 days for our people to celebrate it. That is day 1 we say Mahasangkran, and day 2 it is Vanabot, and day 3 that is Langsat. So what we celebrated the first day we call Mahasangkran is to welcome the new angel. So the new angel will take place to take care the world instead of the old angel. So people have to clean up the house and to decorate many things to be beautiful, especially the house should be nice by decorating with the Buddhist flag or national flag, especially in the temple. The monk should be ready for our Buddhist follower because on this day, many people will come to the temple to offer the food and to enjoy many activities in our Khmer New Year. So this is the first day that we have to clean out the house and welcome the new day. And in the afternoon, people have to go to monastery to to join the religious activity, like observing the five precepts and listen to the Parita chanting, and also listen to Dhamma talk. So this is day one. And day two, the day two expressing the gratitude to our parent, to our older, to our elder, because as our tradition, we are Buddhists. So when we have any ceremony, we always obey or respect our ancestors, especially the living God. It is our parent. So the second day is very important that the children should do something to pay gratitude to our elder, to our parents, such as to to cook the food for them or to get new clothes for them. It is our tradition, but actually it's just not only on that day. We should do any time, as we are a grateful children. As grateful children, we should do something good in return to our parent, to our elder. It is the good sense that we follow the Buddha's teaching. And also in the afternoon, we just follow our tradition, just listen to Dhamma talk and join the Parita chanting. And the third day, we have the special session with the Buddha blessing. So this is third day, and according to the story, this mentioned about Kabal Mahaprom and about the three questions that Kabal Mahaprom asked to Thamabal. So the New Year always celebrate based on the legend or the story. So I would like to mention in brief, because I think most of you, most of our people understand about this, the story, connecting with the Khmer New Year. It is Kabal Mahaprom and Thamabal. Kabal Mahaprom asked the three questions to Thamabal. So, like you understand that, the first question, what is blessing in the morning, and what is a blessing in the afternoon, and what is blessing in the evening. So Thamabal could not answer that question straight away. So they asked for 7 days. He asked for 7 days to find out the answer. And having heard the answer from the two eagles, so Thamabal answered to the Kabal Mahaprom about the three riddle or the three questions. So what is the blessing in the morning? He said the blessing in the morning is on the face, and the blessing in the afternoon is on the chest, and the blessing in the evening is on the foot. So Kabal Mahaprom cut his head to give to his daughter, because Thamabal have answered the correct one. And his head is very powerful, could not throw to the ear. If throw to the ear, there will be no rain. And if throw to the ocean, they will dry up and takai. And if touch the land, they will burn. So he asked his seven daughter to enshrine his head at Kailas mountain. So the seven daughter always take turn to respect and to take care his head every year. That's why we celebrate Khmer New Year, and they take turn. The new angel always take turn to take care his head, and we celebrate this New Year. So thank you. This is my answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Conte, for this insightful sharing, and also very nice the, the Takai, you always bring a
They
very
happy to answer, you know.
sound for us. Last in previous occasion, there's also a very beautiful noise. It is very nice. Thank you, Conte, and and yes, as you highlighted, the 3 day celebration is so meaningful. So it involves the celebration, but also giving or offering the food to the monk, or the giving the the valuable material to the parents or the elder, as well as the cleaning, not just cleaning the house, but cleaning the mind, as the story that is there. And we will discuss further later on. So now I would like to hear from Sister Supalin as well, given that the, I noticed that in US, although it's far from Cambodia, but there are a lot of Cambodian community, and during special occasion, there would be always celebration. So I would like to hear from you, how do you perceive the Khmer New Year festival, and how is it celebrated over there? Can you share with us, please?
Great. Good morning, and thank you, Sister Sophia, so much. And I just want to pay respects to our venerable monks in the session today and distinguished guests who are joining. So I think the Khmer New Year, traditionally, I mean, for myself, being a Cambodian American, and I've grown up here in the United States since I was 5 months old. So since I was very young, my parents would bring me to our local Buddhist temple, and I live in Stockton, California, here in the United States. And as long as I can remember, Sister Sophia, we've always celebrated Khmer New Year. Of course, there's differences of kind of practices here, but I feel that 90% is pretty much the same. 90 to 95% is the same as in Cambodia. Um, Traditionally, my family, we've grown up going to Wat Tamararam Buddhist Temple here in Stockton, California, since 1985. And when we first came to the United States in 1980, I was just 5 months old, so I was still a baby. But I do remember growing up, my parents were very big members of Wat Tamararam Buddhist Temple here in Stockton from the very beginning, very, very humble beginnings of the temple to where it is today in 2021, being the largest, Buddhist temple, very well known in California, and especially here locally in Stockton. Uh, what I remember about Khmer New Year is that it's a very exciting time for all of us who are Americans of Cambodian, Thai, Laotian, Burmese, that kind of from those backgrounds. We feel very special that we get to celebrate New Year in April. And so for us growing up, it was a time of enjoying good Khmer food because our mother, father, grandmother would always prepare the delicious Khmer dishes. And also at the Buddhist temple, there would be a big Khmer New Year festival. Typically here in the United States, what we've done is we don't always get to celebrate on the exact day of Khmer New Year due to work, obviously. Here in the United States, everyone typically works Monday through Friday. And so what we've done here in the United States is we have to adjust our celebration to fit the working schedules of the Cambodian Americans here. So sometimes our festival can extend into the weekend, Sister Sophia, because of the working commitments of our community. But it's a time where we go to the Buddhist temple. We bring, almsgiving, everything for our venerable Buddhist monks. We listen to Dharma talks. We basically practice all of the Buddhist practices. But to be very honest, because of language and because of sometimes not a lot of cultural understanding, we go to the temple as a really good, we say like Gon Khmer, right? We go with our parents, but sometimes we don't understand the meaning of what we're doing. And so I am so very happy that we have this opportunity to explain to the Cambodian American community, especially my generation, my generation that came to this country at a very, very young age. And sometimes because of language barriers, our parents cannot exactly explain to us, why do we go to the temple? Why do we, not bad? Why do we do all these things? But also too, Sister Sophia, we do have all of the traditional games like Chao Chung, Tin Prot. We have Khmer music. We have dancing. So I feel like growing up here in the United States, I felt very Khmer, and it was a very proud time to show our cultural identity and our festival. My last point is that our Khmer New Year festival does not just limit to the Cambodian community. Actually, here in Stockton, it is open to everyone. And we literally get thousands and thousands and thousands of people every year that come to Wat Thamararam Buddhist Temple of all cultures, all religions, all ethnicities, and they all come to witness our Khmer culture, and they really learn a lot. And I feel that it's important when you live in a diverse country like the United States, that when you open your culture and your religion to other people, it actually allows them to understand and learn our story, and so that way it creates a more harmonious community. So thank you, Sister Sophia, for that question.
Thank you, Sapalina. So first of all, before we even, or Venerable Soktivi invited you to come to this platform, I went into your Facebook and follow your background. So I know a little bit, much more about your background. Listen to VOA, the interviews, and then you went and talked about the college, And so anyway, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite traditional food in Khmer New Year? What is your favorite traditional food?
Oh, Sister Sakan. Oh my gosh, I can't name it, but the Khmer food that my mother makes the best is salak ti manoa.
Wow.
Chicken, like a chicken curry. But it's special because the recipe is actually from my paternal grandmother, my father's mother, who my grandmother was the one who raised me, and I from birth until she passed away in 1985. And so my mother got the recipe from her, and it's a very traditional recipe that she learned to cook in Phnom Penh during the royal. She used to make food for the royal palace.
Yeah.
This is like the 1920s, something like that. So anyway, it's a special recipe that's passed down. So yes, sister, I absolutely love that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for sharing. So even though Sapalina and we stay in the United States, we still celebrate our Khmer traditions. And it's not just Khmer, it's all involved with everybody. And thank you for sharing. And also it's, I like also the part where you had mentioned that because we work, from 8 to 5 in the United States here, at least that we were able to extend the Cambodian New Year, Khmer New Year, the following weekend, or the following weekend. So even though it's happened, but we be able to adjust, to meet and be able to still to carry on the traditional, with a traditional dance, traditional food and everything, so that's great. Thank you for sharing. And of course, when Venerable Dhammasina mentioned about the Sakran, I always think that, what is that? So I am thankful that you explained what it is, because I didn't really know. I read about it, but I didn't really, in English, but I didn't really quite understand what really it is. But it is, it's a transition, right? It's like a transition of the new Tevada, and just, and that's really great. Thank you. So I also wanted to ask the questions. Let's see who, hold on. So for Venerable Gasapat, good morning. How is Khmer New Year linked to Buddhist practices? Can you point out some activities that are traditionals and religious?
Yeah, thank you, sister, for the question. So at the inception, let me pay my homage to the Triple Gem. Dear Venerable Sirs, respectfully, Venerable Dhammasena Singhai, Venerable Manputos of TV, our special speaker, sister, I'm sorry to say exactly your name, and our two moderators, and our friends in them around the globe. And yep, first I'm the one who will disagree using the term religious, because when we are talking about the religious and traditionally it quite controversial to some extent. I will elaborate very briefly about that. So we use the tradition because it has been quite long practice and transcended by our ancestors. And I would, religious here, it also refers to the Hinduism. That is why we take as traditional, I mean, to some extent. So that is why I would like to suggest to use the word Buddhist, because anyway, and I'm sorry to say about that. Before going to in dissecting that Khmer New Year has a close relationship between Buddhism or not, let us go back to the story told by Venerable Singhai, and it is a very famous story. How the Kapila Mahabrahma, in Khmer we call Kabal Mahaprum, cut his head because he lost the debate or answering, the debate between the Dhammapala Kumar. So, I mean, behind that story, it tells us that our ancestors are clever in integrating the philosophy into traditions, or they were clever in integrating the different story into traditional practices. And to be honest, it's really tough to draw a straight line to distinguish between the traditional and religious when it comes to the New Year, because everything is, tightly linked when we openly analyze. I mean, the philosophical background behind every and each practices exercised by our Khmer. But let me tell you this. But the story of Kabila Mahaprum, I mean Mahaprum, is exactly related to the traditional belief, because but that is I mean another issue, another case that we need time to talk about. The story is not a Buddhist one, but later on our scholars integrate that story into you know, a different perspective. So there are many traditional practices like that I told you that we cannot say traditional practices because they are linked with the Buddhist philosophy, like cleaning, as Honorable Hatsing has mentioned, cleaning the houses, and then, you know, and it can be seen only in Cambodia, in Thailand, in Laos, in Myanmar, like you bathe the Buddha statues, you bathe the elders like your mother, your father, but it cannot be seen in Sri Lanka. But they are practicing another way that they're using the auspicious oil, I mean, to wash themselves. But even they use the word wash themselves, but they just apply the oil on their head, symbolizes that they are having the bathing ceremony. I mean, literally from the language. We call it Nanu Mangale. So Nanu mean like having bath. But I mean, so I mean, earlier I brought up some idea that I don't want to use the word traditional or religious, because when we profoundly interpret that the new year, I mean, according to the astrologers, we celebrate on the same day, I mean, in the same month. Even Sri Lanka, the northern Indians, and the Thailand, and the Myanmar, and Laos. So this is the influence of Hinduism. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I want to say that this is the influence of Hinduism into our culture. And according to history, we practice the mixture of religious system when we were the great empire. So there are many Buddhist practices performing during the Khmer New Year, and as Sister mentioned, you know, Rabat and going to the temple and transferring merits to our departed ones, and especially we have kinds of family union. We go to our hometown and do some religious activities. And another traditional one, and it can be considered, I don't know that, I'm sorry, I don't know, and I would like to make a suggestion to Venerable Hatsing Hai to find the exact origination of that belief system, that we have kinds of, how to say that, I forgot the term, I'm sorry, horoscope, and using the animals, you know, cows, dragon. So I think it can be, I don't know, it from the China or it from somewhere, I don't know, because Chinese New Year, they have the same animal as Khmer New Year. So this is we have to, you know, dig down to understand what is the reason behind that. So, and it is not a Buddhist philosophy. So yeah, and I'm sorry for taking more time, and I would like, yeah, to let Venerable Soktivi elaborate more. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Gasabat. Oh, religious and traditional belief. I was trying to capture what you have mentioned. Traditional belief. How you explain Kopra Mahaprum lost the debate. And again, let me just bring in a little bit. Is it Khmer? Is it Tamabao? The New Year legend that Venerable Dhammasena brought up. Again, isn't it involved with a legend, 7 days that he has to think about? And he sat down, think about so long. Isn't it because there's a bird up above his head, right? Venerable Dhammasena about a bird about because he couldn't figure out, Anyway, I wanted to discuss with you after this because I still wanted to know a little bit more about that. Traditional belief and influence of Buddhism and Khmer New Year. Okay, well, let's learn some more a little bit. Let's go get some more information about. So, is it Venerable Puto? Could you add some more into this?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, and let me pay respect to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and the Venerable Kassapa and Venerable Shanghai, and our special guest, Sister Supalin, and two moderators, friends in Dharma around the world. Today is such a great topic as we are approaching to the Khmer New Year in the next 3 or 4 days. And today at my monastery, at my temple in Seattle, Washington State, we are holding the Khmer New Year starting from this weekends. As the Sister Pauline already mentioned that I think not most every Khmer temple in the United States, throughout the United States, because people cannot make it to the temple during the weekdays, so we choose to celebrate mostly on the weekends. But of course, people can still come during that days, like here at my temple. We start from today, which is April 10, until April 18, which is the last day of the new year. So in between of that, people still come, but mostly people can only make it through the weekends. So anyway, we still celebrate the new year as normal, even though within this pandemic, although there are some restrictions to limit that we have to wear masks coming to the temple, we have to stay social distancing, and also keep our hand washing often so that we can stay away from the pandemic, the COVID spread. Anyway, coming back to the question, we're talking about the Khmer New Year, which, as we know, that it is the traditional Cambodian New Year or Khmer New Year. But again, it has been mingled with some of the religious practices. As Venerable Kassapa has mentioned, the word religious would mean in a different way. Depends on how we define it, based on what evidence or sources we define it. But again, in Khmer culture, we see that two religions or faith has been mingled. Traditionally, we have the Brahmanism, which has long been rooted in or been long influenced to Cambodia, long time ago. And again, later onward, especially noticeably from the 12th century onward, we have our greatest king, the Robert Jayavarman VII, who later also embraced Buddhism very near, so that he tried to combine both religious faith together, so that people will, better have the mutual understanding between each other without quarreling between which religion they practice, whether Brahmanism or Hinduism or Buddhism. And again, when we talk about Khmer traditional New Year, our Khmer ancestors in the past, as they see that every country, every nation, they do have their own New Year, so why not Cambodia? But according to the history, Khmer New Year was originally not celebrated in the April. It was at the very first month of the year. But later onward, consider that it would be best to celebrate it after the harvestation season, because mostly we are the farmers, we are the peasant family, so we do a lot of growing, the plantation, the crops. So after March or April would be the best time for people to enjoy their plantation, their harvestation, and so they have to get together to enjoy what they have done throughout the year. And so, as Sister already mentioned, that it is a great day. It was very exciting day for our Khmer people around the world to get together and share love and care to each other, sharing food, sharing whatever they have. It's the art of sharing. It's the art of contributing one another some materials as well as these spiritual helps to each other. So when we look at the part which is played by the religious side, I believe that because every Khmer New Year we always celebrate at the temple or monastery, the Buddhist temple. That is why it is very much linked. It has the great connection to Buddhist practices. Some activities like we say the alms offering, food donation, material donation to the monks, and also people dedicate merit after having donated food or materials to the monk, and then they also listen to the Dhamma talk, listening to the monks chanting, and paying respect to the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and then people also do some other religious rituals as well in that. And specifically, we talk about the Buddhist practices, like the Ruap Bat. We offer the food into the monk's bowl, and as a sign of offering alms to the monk. Actually, it is in the same way. It's not very different. But in the past, like in the Buddha's lifetime, the monks would go from one place to place in order to collect alms for themselves, as the monk lives solely depend on the donation of the people. They do not make their own food. They do not do any business or earn their livelihood, but they just live depend solely on the donation of the people. So they would travel from village to village in order to collect alms food. And that tradition comes into the Ruap Bat for today. Whenever we have the ceremony, mostly we always place the monk's bowl on the table. They have been well prepared for people to come and put some, spoonful of rice into the alms bowl. This is a representative, just like the monks go alms round. But because the monk cannot go alms round, especially in that time, they have to stay and do the chanting. So people just, offer the alms to the bowl that has been placed. And that is just the one of the idea of the Buddhist ritual that has been incorporated in the Khmer New Year Festival and some other activities as well. We can talk about that later. I believe that a lot of Khmer people, especially Cambodian American here, they always come to the temple and they usually do all this activity. Nevertheless, they somehow they don't understand the meaning of it, the benefit of why they're doing it. And the fact is that I think it's a shortcoming from the temple itself, from the monks or from the leaders of the ceremony as well. We should have, explain, or we should have some time to let people get involved in the idea and, ask some questions, or maybe having the Q&A session during the Khmer New Year celebration. I think that would be great. And I have that idea, and I sometimes did it for the last years in the temple. Sometimes I do the brochure, the flyer. I post the flyer for the sake of understanding, especially to our youth, so that they have more information about the Khmer New Year. And I think often we have not had enough chance to spread the facts and the news about the Khmer New Year in English. We mostly provide only in Khmer version. That's why this is one of the purpose of our Dhammika Live Dhamma Sandana talk show. Every week we try to provide the topic in English version as well, for the sake of our Cambodian American or whatever Cambodian who born in foreign countries who could not be able to understand Khmer language. Of course, we encourage all of you to study and learn to speak Khmer, learn to read and learn to write Khmer. No matter where you born, being Kon Khmer, we are proud of our identity, our our root, our culture, our nation, our tradition. That's why language is one of the important identity for ourselves. We should learn, and also at the temple, I'm focusing about the temple. We should be able to provide more knowledge to our people, especially during this big festival, because Khmer New Year is one of the biggest traditional Khmer festival of the year. So it's a time of gathering, and a lot of people are coming, not just the elders, but all people at all ages, especially the young generation. They approach the temple. I think it's the opportunity we should get engaged with the youths and be able to share with them the understanding, the knowledge of my culture and history and the meaning of Buddhism as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Modiputo. I will say no more. He explained everything that we needed to know. And so thank you so much for enlightening with all these answers to us. And I want to turn to Venerable Damasina. I wanted to ask a little bit. Could you go explain a little bit about the head of Maha Kabaprum? And then also, we wanted to know how can we reduce, in the party of drinking, because in Cambodia, or not even Cambodia, Cambodian people got drunk a lot for the parties, and especially during COVID-19, people are still gathering and drinking as normal. So could you give us some more information? Just enlighten us with those.
You mean the first one is about the head of Kabal Mahaprom, right?
Yes.
It is just a story, actually, as I mentioned earlier and we discussed. Actually, very popular story concerning Khmer New Year. And our ancestor is very talented to integrate the story with our tradition in order to explain the people in this way, so that people will interest to understand and to listen, and will look for the good answer, and then can take it into practice. So as I mentioned about the history of the Kabal Mahaprom, who lost his head because Thamabal have answered the correct one. So the head of Kabal Mahaprom represent the four supplying Dhamma. In Khmer, we say Prom Vihirator, the four supplying Dhamma. That is Metta, loving kindness, Metta, and compassion, that is Karuna, compassion, and then Mudita, that is empathy, joy, Upekha, that is equanimity. So these four Dhamma, that is very great quality for our life. So as long as we uphold this teaching, our life will be prosperous and will get a happiness. So if we cut his head, and then if we cut his the head, that is, if we don't practice the four supplying Dhamma, we will danger and we will not get happiness. So this is the meaning that every people have to uphold and have to practice the four supplying Dhamma: Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekha. And for the second question about how to advise our people, right, not to drink alcohol in this pandemic, I think it's very hard. Anyway, our government have taken the measure to prevent those people from gathering. Like we have the curfew in Phnom Penh. I think we have the curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 o'clock in the morning every day, and some district and some commune have been locked down, and if they gather to drink alcohol, I think they will get punishment, or the police will come and take them to jail, or I don't know, but we should be aware of this thing, because drinking alcohol is not really good, and people have to understand by yourself and to join to prevent from pandemic. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ponte, for helping to answering to somehow Sister Sakon also have similar question as far as I know, and our audience have posed the question regarding the the story behind the head of the Kabal Mahaprom, and Ponte have helped to clarify, and we will also discuss later on in our later discussion. And also your contribution to how we saw reuse in parting of drinking. I think there is an issue often in Cambodia. So probably when we're discussing about the blessing, how people can be blessed, that can also address to that question later on. Now I would like to turn the question to Ponte Soktivi. During the celebration, there are certain ceremony that we have been celebrating, especially at the pagoda, at the monastery. And Ponte and our speaker earlier have also shared, how this have been celebrating at the monastery. For example, like alms offering or chanting, or bathing the Buddha statue. So can you share us? I think there's one popular kind of tradition. I'm not sure the right term, but like the Sen Stupa or Pun Phnom Sat. So can you share us why people celebrating this kind of Sen Stupa, so that our audience can be enlightened further? Please, Ponte.
Yeah, we already discussed in Khmer language as well. I just would like to repeat again, since we have joined some ideas from yesterday, that traditionally people believe that by building the sand stupa and placing some offering like flowers, money, and other materials to the sand stupa, they get blessing, and they can waste away their evil actions done. That is the traditionally what they believe. And somehow, according to Buddhist traditions, we have learned about the story of the Buddha shrine, the sacred shrine, which is located in the the second heavenly realm, what we call Tavatingsa. So it is the symbol or representative of the Buddha sacred shrine in the heaven realm, that we are building the sand stupa in a shape like a Khmer art or a Khmer style of stupa. Actually, stupa, even the word stupa actually is the Sanskrit or Pali language is Chetiya, Chetdai. We call Chetdai in Pisa Khmer, in Khmer language. So when we see the sand stupa, it has a shape, like the Chetdai, Khmer Chetdai. That's why it is adopted from the Buddhist stories, Jataka story. We have learned about that. By paying homage and, paid our veneration to the Buddha shrine, of course, we can get blessing due to our good respect in the Triple Gem, honoring the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, which are the great jewels, the great blessings. That's why this become traditionally a ritual practice that we have been doing until nowadays. On the other hand, in the past, people not just collecting the sand to build as a stupa, but they also collecting the rice, you know, to build as a stupa. So after having done this ceremony, the rice would be useful for, you know, for the food or as a supply to the temple itself. I think it's a kind of a good idea that our ancestor has, you know, incorporated in this way. It's a kind of, you know, educational purposes that can bring people to do more good action out of the story being told. So that's pretty much from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Conte, and I hope our audience who are following can better understand the rationale behind of this kind of celebration of the, you know, Sen Stupa. And now I would like to also turn to Conte Kassapa. We on the last day, our tradition is to celebrate the busting the Buddha statue. But indeed, it's not just the Buddha. It's also involving the parent or the elder. So can you help to explain this further? You know, why we celebrating this kind of activity, and what is your advice that lay people should actually celebrating the busting of the Buddha statue? Please come to.
Thank you, sister, for the question. And before answering your question, let me, not correcting, but let me explain again what I had tried to explain about the traditional and religious. To be honest, I didn't, you know, strive to reject the idea, but I want to say that when you say traditional, there are different kinds of philosophy, or it can be integrative philosophy, it can be Buddhism, it can be Hinduism, it can be tribal belief system in our tradition, which we have been practicing so far, knowingly or unknowingly. So when it comes to religious, there are integrative philosophy. It can be Buddhism, it can be Hinduism, it can be tribal belief system. That is why I want to say that we are interconnected. They are interconnected. It's really tough for us to differentiate, distinguish between these two terms when it comes to the Khmer New Year. That is why I did my best to explain, but I don't know, it was a little bit confusion. So as our guest speaker told us that, yes, I think she is the second generation of young generation. She is the representative of our young generation. So I would like to suggest to our young generation that our ancestors are incredibly brilliant. They are smart people to create different philosophy and hand over it to us. So our responsibility is, I'm not telling you not to analyze, not to dig down, not to dive deep, but I would like to ask you to open your heart to dig down their hidden philosophy, how you can integrate those philosophy into your life, whether the story true or not, what we can learn from that story, even from the Kabal Mahaprum, Kapila Mahabrahma, what can we learn? Whether, you know, the Mahabrahma has the four faces or not? No, this is not the question. The question is, what can we learn from that? Okay, so let me say this. Every and each traditional games or practices, like Honorable Soktibi said, the Sand Stupa or the Kabal Mahapram story, there are so much lesson we can learn, we can integrate to our life. Let me say this one, okay? I'm sorry for taking so much time. Like Kabal Mahapram, the father of the 7 daughters, advised his daughter not to let his forehead to be drawn into the water, to the earth, or to the sky. it means that the 7 deities or goddess were advised to protect the head. It means you have to protect, you have to conserve, you have to guard, safeguard your compassion, your loving kindness, your sympathetic joy, your equanimity. The more jealousy you have, the more destructive behavior you will conduct. So this is the fire. This is the destruction for the entire society, not only to society, your family. So this is the real blessing. So I mean, from dissecting this philosophy, I want to integrate that bathing ceremony is one of the most brilliant philosophy in Khmer New Year. Okay, and you know, when we dissecting carefully and profoundly, openly, there are many hidden philosophy lessons we can learn from our Khmer New Year. The thing is, our our young generation, they raise the question, but unfortunately, sometimes our parents, our adult are not that capable enough to answer it in a meaningful way. This is the big issue. So, but let me say, when we say, just think like that. Before we bathe our parent, what do we do before that? That is the most harmonious and peaceful, and how to say that, united activity performed by the daughters and son. You seek apology, you ask for forgiveness from your parent. So it kinds of renewing the relationship. Whatever I have done wrong so far, please forgive me. Forgiving or not forgiving is the parents' business, but I know that they have the equanimity, they can forgive themselves. So this is what we can learn from our Khmer New Year practices. And after that, you bathe them, and it kinds of, having kinds of, how to say that, it's tough for me to find the proper word to say that it's I use a union, that you have a close, a cool relationship with your parents. I mean, there is a philosophy there is a game there that might be funny. I mean, so a lot of stuff there. So, and after bathing the parents, what we do is, the most important is you bathe the Buddha statue. So you express your devotion, you express your gratitude to the Buddha, and you don't have any kinds of blessing rather than bathing the Buddha. So this is the way you express them, and the thing is, you cleansing him. It means that you want the blessing from him, but through the water, what we are doing is, we try to cool our mind, we try to calm down our mind when we are practicing that. So there are a lot of practices there, but what I want to say, you are cultivating the faithfulness, you are cultivating wise devotion towards the Buddha. That this is what I can do during the New Year, to express my gratitude once a year. So there are so much to be discussed. So that's all from me.
Thank you so much, Ponte, for this elaboration, and you also helped to clarify the tradition and the religion practice as well. Thank you so much, Ponte. And before we move to our next discussion, I just want to read our audience question. I think the same person have keep asking concerning the story behind the Kabal Mahaprom, but I think his question is the question is very good. So I would like to turn that question to Pante Singhai. I think one of the questions he asked is the whether how in terms of when we're talking about Kabal Mahaprom, if we compare his characteristic to the honorary people, how can we compare that? So that is one question. But another question, is there any representation of the servant daughter of the Kabal Mahaprom in this story? So please, Ponte, can you help to clarify, elaborate on this question? Thank you.
Thank you. Kabal Mahaprom, I think, represent the people nowadays with the jealousy people, because he's not really happy with others' success. For example, Thamabal, who is very wise and very resourceful and well known in that time. So Kabal Mahaprom want to challenge with the 3 questions. And also, if Thamabal could not answer, he will cut his head. So he's not happy with the success of others. It is called jealousy, right? Jealousy is people. So I think we have to develop mudita. That is the great quality of life to improve our mental state. This is one question. And the second question about the 7 angels. As I research, we can say it represents the 7 days, starting from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Take again, and Friday. Yeah, so 7 days it represent 7 days. It represents 7 days that people have to uphold and have to practice the Dharma. As I mentioned earlier about the head of the Kabal Mahaprom that have 4 faces. So it represents the 4 supplying Dharma, Brahmavihara Dharma. So we have to practice every day, every time, within 7 days. So this is a story that we can learn from that. Thank you.
Thank you. See, I tell you, we do have a lot of questions about Thamabal and Mahaprom. So thank you for explaining to us, Venerable Dhammasena. So I want to move toward to. It's a great lot. We have a lot of. We learned a lot today. Matter of fact. So let's see. I am gonna. Let's see. Could you explain the traditional concepts of New Year blessings, whether blessings come from the month, the new angel of the year, or anything else? Let me go to Venerable Soktebi. Could you start it?
Okay, I think I let Sister Supalin go first, since you stay silent for long. Okay.
Oh yeah, Sister Sopalin. Yes, go ahead, Sister Sopalin. Sorry. Yes, sorry about. Let's have Sister Sopalin go first. Then. Sorry.
So the question from the audience member, thank you. That's a really great question. Where did the blessings come from? Right? Was that the question posed? Okay. It's okay. So I guess I can explain it from my perspective as growing up here and understanding from my parents. But I want to just touch on a really important point is that I feel that we could do a better job. And I think this is actually not a criticism, but it's an opportunity to make something better, but I think that we can do a much better job of explaining these practices and what what the significance is between our elder generation, venerable monks, having a bridge to the next generation. Because to be very honest, sometimes it's explained very differently. Now, I grew up with very Buddhist practices because of my parents and my grandparents, and from Cambodia, and I explained to Venerable Sok TV, I come from a family that's very deeply rooted in Buddhist traditions. From my grandmother in Wat Goltateng in Cambodia and Wat Nikavon. So growing up, I was very deeply rooted in it, but I'm not saying everybody is, right? So I feel like the blessings, you can I mean, I think that definitely a lot of our community, we have this perception that if something bad happens in our life, we have bad situations, or we have something that has really caused us sorrow, suffering, pain, we go to the temple, and we want venerable Buddhist monks to, in Khmer, we feel that we go to the temple, we have peace, we all of a sudden our bad luck is being washed. Now, that is a practice that I will say is done, and I, of course, growing up, we've done it as a family, right? When there's certain times where you feel that your luck is just very bad, you're going through a lot of maybe loss, and I think that's when we experience loss, it creates suffering and pain. And how do we then relieve that pain? We go to the Buddhist temple. We seek advice from our venerable monks, right, sister? And so I feel that there is that belief that, yes, the blessings come from somewhere else, right? But another thing that I feel that we also need to practice, and this is why I feel that we need to do a better job of educating our young, because I don't think I'm that young. I'm 40, right? I mean, and so I feel that it's important to bridge the language. I feel that language is a barrier, to be very honest, because many of our elders that came to the United States, they didn't speak English, and we grew up speaking just English in schools, right? And so how are our parents supposed to explain to us the practices and the beliefs if they themselves could not even communicate with us? And I'm very passionate about this, because I feel that I've been fortunate because I speak Khmer 100%, but I cannot speak for everyone else, right? And so I feel that we need to do a better job of finding a way to bridge that. And I think that's why programs like Dhammika Life and venerable monks who are explaining this in English, I wish I had this 30 years ago, 35 years ago, because I would have grown up with a lot more awareness. My last point I want to make is that sometimes the blessings that we expect is actually, it's in ourselves. The suffering, the sorrow, a lot of the things that we feel about life, whatever it is that we're going through, we have to have the mindfulness. We have to have a way to understand, why am I experiencing so much pain, and being able to control our mind and to be able to control our emotions and find a way to really make sense of what we're going through. And for me personally, I am human just like all of us, and I go through pain, I go through loss, I go through failure, disappointment, I go through sorrow, losing a loved one. So I feel that there needs to be a way that we can actually use the mindfulness to control those events in our lives, and then we don't feel that we have to always depend on some magical external factor that's just going to come down and bless us, right? I feel that it has to also come from inside our heart, our mind, our soul. We really think of it holistically. So that's my perspective, sister. So thank you for the question.
Lovely. I do believe that. I do believe that educations and awareness holistically is very important. So that way we can be able to, to have our mind to be stable if we're going in wrong directions, at least to be able to bring it back, you know. So yeah, thank you for bringing that in and having the educations just like this, the Make a Life Foundations. I'm very thankful that we have this program so that the youth would be able to, you know, to understand more about the Happy Khmer New Year, the Khmer New Year, and the traditions. So it is very important. Thank you for sharing your heart, you know, and your knowledge to us. Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
And I want to turn this to, I guess, let's go. Well, you know what? Let's go to let's go to Venerable Kassapa, because I thank you for explaining for a little bit more into that philosophy, you know, and bringing into it, integrating into you know, the compassion, loving kindness, and sympathy with, you know, deep and stressing on you know, dive deep down into, you know, the philosophy. And so thank you. So I wanted to go and ask you, how's the let's see, what could you explain the traditional concept of New Year blessing, whether blessings comes from monks, the new angel of the year, or anything else?
Okay, thank you, sister. I'm sorry. wait. Thank you, sister, for the question. Yeah, this is the most important point, that fact that every one of us has to understand, has to comprehend very clearly. So the real blessing for the new year, I mean, according to the astrology or according to the Buddhism. So before, I mean, elaborating the question, and let me remind you that according to the story of Kapila Mahaprabhu, that the blessing in the morning is on our face, and the blessing during the day is on our chest, and the blessing during the night is on our feet. It means we must clean our feet before going bed. So this is my analysis, okay, integrating with different philosophy. So according to Buddhism, before you pay homage to the Buddha, before you meditate, you have to wash your face. It means you have to physically cleanse yourself before starting your whole day. So just imagine if you don't brush your teeth, even you yourself cannot open your mouth. This is the reality. So physically, we must be clean. And in the morning, we are advised, according to Buddhism, you must fresh your mind. You must let your mind be positive. You must start your day with meditation. You must start your day with paying homage to the Buddha. Or like personally, before I going out from my room, what I do is I must offer a glass of water to the Buddha, and before that, I take the tissue and clean him. So this is I start my day. So this is we have to do. And secondly, what we can learn from the story is, even if you don't have the money, even you don't have any kinds of material thing to offer to someone, when you train your mind to smile, when you train your mind to offer your smile, you know, the next person might feel that, oh, I mean, in Khmer, I'm sorry to use the word Khmer, because now that I mean, in his face, in his smile, you feel that there is an offering. What kinds of offering? Through your smile, you offering kindness, you offering friendliness. You know, no matter how hard it is, even you are sad, even you are depressed, or even you are angry, you try to smile, that you try to change your mood. This is the real blessing. And the question will be answered whether the blessing come from yourself, come from the angel of the year, or someone. And the second one is the day after you start your morning, you have to take care of your heart. So coolness, the water, according to Buddhism, symbolizes the kindness, symbolizes the compassion, because during the day it's very hot. That is why you need to water to heal your chest. So in Buddhist perspective, during the day, you have to encounter, you have to confront thousands of issues in your life. You know, the work of the baby, sometimes quarrel with husband, or sometimes at work, or many criticism from the society, many condemnation from the society. When you are at mid of these kinds of chaos, what you have to do is you have to change your inner side. That is why you use the water to cool down your heart. So this is the real blessing. And the final one, during the day, we work so hard. And this day, even myself, young generation, because you are using the slippers or shoe, so you won't easily get dirty. Your feet. So that, but anyhow, we have to wash. So the farmers, they have to wash. But physically we have to clean ourselves. But what I understand from the story is, before you going to bed, you have to wash everything off. Okay? Don't even let the dirtiness of your thoughts touching your feet. You have to forget everything. You have to wash off everything. Then you go to bed. So this is the real blessing. So yeah, that's all from me. So the real blessing is from us, according to Buddhism, not from anyone else. The monks, they just expand their loving kindness, but you have to open your heart to get that blessing. Otherwise, no one can get the blessing for you. That's all from me.
Thank you so much, Pante, for this elaboration and very meaningful. And I hope our audience can follow, the real meaning and the way how we can get blessing. Mainly is earth ourselves, to understand the rational, but also, as Pante explained, is to open the heart. So. Given the time is running short now, so I would like to ask all speakers to share Earth. Probably first go to Sister Sukalin. What is your the moral of the Khmer New Year and your final message, please?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much to Venerable Monks, and thank you to our lovely moderators. My final words for this Khmer New Year, I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone who celebrates Songkran in any country. And I want to wish everyone much health, wealth, and success in all of your endeavors. And really, again, I think the final takeaway for myself in this session is that it's important, as we are going through this global pandemic together, that it is a very difficult time for everyone. So it is very important to look after your mental health and wellness. And one of the things that I found is, when you go through a difficult time in your life, it's really important to take time for mindfulness, for your mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, because without your health, you cannot do anything else. You will not be able to achieve success in your studies academically. If you are, working business, you cannot achieve any success without your health. And when health is physical, mental, emotional. So please do take time out for yourself, whether it's meditation or mindfulness or, listening to Dharma talks or reading books or anything. So I just want to wish everyone a happy new year, and may you all really enjoy this time with your family. And please do stay safe, because we are still in this pandemic in the United States. Everyone is getting vaccinated right now, but please still be very careful. So thank you so much to everyone for including me on today's session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. We are so pleased as well to have you join us in both the Khmer language yesterday and today. Thank you so much. And now I would like to turn to Phante Hasinghai. Please, Phante, your last word about, on the occasion of the Khmer New Year. Please, Phante.
Yeah, thank you. I think in Khmer New Year we're coming very soon, and we also celebrate it every year. We can learn a lot like this year. We have to be aware of our lifespan, because we spend a lot and our life very short. So something that we have to do, we should do right away. Don't be hatefulness. So we have to perform the meritorious deed, the good action, bodily action, verbal action, and mental action should be a good thing. And another thing that is our Khmer New Year really preserve our tradition and culture, and also bring the unity to our Cambodian society. So we all should celebrate this New Year happily and enjoy it. And my last message is Happy New Year to everyone, and wish you all happy and good luck to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Phante. And can we also hear from Phante TV, please?
Yeah, thank you so much. And my last message, I would encourage people to stay mindful as we are working in this very uncertain world of pandemic. So we must be very mindful of whatever we are doing on a daily basis, and remind ourselves that changes are bound to come in life. So we must be ready to welcome whatever is coming. And of course, there is a phrase, it has been raised, blessing only come to those who do the cause of blessing. The new angel can only give the blessing to those who do good. So the cause of getting blessing is doing good through our physical action, verbal action, and mental action. So take King Sam, the story we learned from Kabal Mahaprom, like the 4 sublime states, it also can represent as a leadership when we are leading society, leading the family, leading the community. We must have these 4 qualities of Dhamma in order to stay peaceful for ourselves and also harmonious for the whole world. Happy Khmer New Year. May everyone be blessed with peace and happiness. May you all live long life, be free from fear, danger, and may you all be well, happy, and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phante. And last but not least, Phante Kasapa, please, your final message to our audience on the occasion of the Khmer New Year.
Thank you, sister. So let me remind you the words of the Buddha. And I want our young generation to understand. In Adhamika Sutta, when the entire humanity is mentally corrupted, the entire cosmos is erratic, is corrupted. When the entire cosmos is corrupted, the seasons is erratic. The season proceed of course. When the entire season proceed of course, the climate, the weather are poisonous. When the climate are poisonous, the crops are poisonous. When the crops are poisonous, the human who eat the poisonous crops will be ugly, short-lived, weak, sickly. So what I want to remind you, Khmer New Year is a chance for you, is opportunity for you to refresh yourself, to refresh your mind, to get the real blessing. You are sick not because of someone, because the way you treat the planet. The planet is sick, the air is sick, the water is sick. It means you are sick. The real blessing starts from you. Change your lifestyle, change the way you think, change the way you behave if you want to win the COVID-19. You cannot run away according to Buddhist philosophy because it's a circle process. What goes around comes around because your mind is corrupted. Your mind is full of greediness. Your mind is full of covetousness. What you have to do is cleanse your mind by loving kindness, compassion, equanimity. It means celebrate Khmer New Year meaningfully. Then you will be safe. I guarantee you, if you honestly practice the way our ancestors introduced, according to Buddhism, you will be safe from the COVID-19 according to the Adhammika Sutta. So that's all from me. Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much, Conte, for very meaningful last message, but very meaningful. Thank you, Conte, and to all our Dhamma speaker as well for very comprehensive discussion tonight and in the morning over there. So before we end our live show, I would like to thank you so much to our audience who following our talk show as always, and we would like to share the merit from this Dhamma Sandana with all living being in the whole universe. May all be happy and peaceful, and especially because with the community outbreak in Cambodia and just in the mid, closing to the time for us to celebrate my New Year, I would like to jointly convey the message to our Cambodian fellow that, let us celebrate New Year at home. Try to maintain the physical distance and, respect the necessary preventive measures so that we can overcome the pandemic this time. And may we all be, recovering from this situation very soon. So once again, thank you so much to our honorable speaker for sharing with us today. Finally, I would like to express sincere thanks to Dhammika Live team, the founder, the director, advisor, and technical support team as well for providing such a wonderful support to make our discussion possible. Last but not least, thank you everyone for joining and following our show. Now let us spend a moment practicing Metta Bhavana or loving kindness meditation, which will be instructed by Ponte Kassapa Ponkhanra. Thank you and goodbye. Our Metta meditation begins.
Hello everyone. Let us practice loving friendliness meditation for oneself. Self-loving friendliness meditation is the first section of Metta meditation. Self-loving friendliness meditation is designed to direct you to happily take care of yourself, to honestly forgive yourself, to truly accept yourself without conditions. Before starting, please find a very comfortable posture. Close your eyes. Relax your head, your shoulders, your arms, and your entire body. Please slowly take a very deep breath 3 times. When it is done, let your breath flow as naturally as it does. Observe your breath without judgment, reactions, and criticism. Just merely observe it as the way it is while you are listening to my Pali Metta chanting. Aham Now, please create a very tender smile on your face. Visualize your happy and smiling face. You are very happy person with smiling face. Please keep smiling with honest heart, because you are going to bless yourself. Please be aware of the phrases which I am going to recite, and let yourself honestly feel the real meanings of the phrases. May I be well and happy. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from anger. May I be free from physical and mental sufferings. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. May I take care of myself happily. Now, take your right hand and place it on your chest and you can mentally repeat after me. In this home, we are family. We live under the same shelter, so we must be kind to each other, be compassionate to each other, be friendly to each other, help each other, respect one another, be happy every day, keep smiling with honest heart, be grateful, be positive, forgive even when it's really hard. Before open your eyes, please take again a very deep breath 3 times. Thank you. May you be well and happy.